Hello guys, how are you doing? So today I'm making my favorite homemade bread. I try not to eat bread out of the store ever. So first of all, these are all the ingredients, coffee always, that you're going to need to make this bread. This is an artesian bread. It's delicious, you guys. Okay, so first of all, I only use whole wheat flour. I get this at Walmart right now, but I just bought a grinder, and the top is over there. I just washed it. I'll be grinding my own wheat nuts, hopefully pretty soon. I do keep the flour that I'm not using in the freezer per the bag, and for the bowl over here on the table you can see I have a bowl of flour that I keep in my refrigerator. Let me open that with a measuring cup. Oh, hold on, guys. See, yeah, I learned this from a girl in Georgia who made biscuits right out of that every time. But anyway, so today's ingredients, and I'm going to give you the recipe as we go. In a container with a lid, this is my bread container, you will mix 2 cups of tap water. Get it as warm as you can. 2 cups. And there's the water. And then you're going to mix, I believe it's 1 tablespoon. Hold on here, let me look. Yep, 1 tablespoon of sea salt. Mix it up, get it dissolved. Then you're going to add your Fleshman's Active Dry Yeast. And I use a whole packet. And you can add a little bit of honey to this, but you want to add the water, the salt, and the yeast in here. And then you'll be adding 4 cups of your flour in here. And of course, coffee is optional. But I do like to add a little bit of, you can add molasses. I'm going to bring it over here, guys. You could add some molasses to that. I am going to add honey to that. And I'll probably add about 1 tablespoon, maybe 2, depending on my mood. I'll let you know when I come back. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get this mixed up, and when I come back you'll see the final product mixed up in the bowl. I will, since I have to use a recipe for this, be posting the recipe down below for those of you who like a recipe. But so far, there's your ingredient list. Flour, don't matter if you use white or wheat. Sea salt, active dry yeast, and hot water. Optional, honey, and molasses. I guess you could even throw some brown sugar in there. But you don't need anything sweet in this because this active dry yeast combined with your salt will make your bread rise. So I'll see you back here. I gave this little girl's arm a workout. I wanted to show you the consistency of this dough. This is going to be wet, guys. The best thing about this recipe is this is a no knead bread. Right? This is what I use the end of my spoon to mix my dough. It's just something I was taught. It can whip through the dough, cut through the dough, and get everything mixed up. So with that being said, no knead, and this is the consistency. What we're going to do with this bread, guys, is, oh, my arm's tired, is we are going to put the lid on, leave a little crack, and we're going to let this sit for 2 hours. Now, you guys, when I used a microwave, and I don't use those anymore, I would just put this in the microwave. Yeah. But I'm going to tell you, this is going to rise, especially if you're using white flour, a lot. I mean, it'll rise right out of the top. It'll pop your lid right off. That's why I always try and leave a little bit of a vent in my lid so that, yeah, I know, so that I have rising room. But what I'll do is find a nice warm spot, and this is warm because you're going to use as hot of water as you can get up out of your spigot. I don't know if I mentioned this, but if you use, guys, extra ingredients in the way of liquid, like I put in 2 tablespoons of honey in there because it helps make that wheat just a little sweeter. I added an extra tablespoon of flour. So this recipe that I'm giving you calls for 4 cups of flour. So I added 4 cups and a tablespoon. like I said, this is nice and warm. We're going to cover it. We're going to let it sit for 2 hours. And I'm going to go do some laundry. Planted 4 plants today. Yeah, coffee optional. So anyway, I will leave that just like that. I don't put this lid on tight in case this proofs right up out of the top. I will put that in a nice warm spot, and when I come back, we'll be looking at the dough, how it looks when it's ready, getting our oven going, and this bread is delicious, guys. This is the easiest bread I've ever made in my life. Like I said, no kneading. See you back in a minute. Hi, everybody. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the bread right now. Yeah, I need to get flour out. But that's wheat bread, and that's how much it rose. Beautiful, right? I have a little container with flour, but I don't want to spend the time looking for it. So anyway, let's make sure everything's in the camera. So when your bread is set for 2 hours, what you want to do is get some little pans. I use my little baking oven. I'll show you when I'm done here. But parchment paper. Oops. Parchment paper. It's first time filming like this, guys, so bear with me. So anyway, I'm going to take 2 pieces of parchment paper and put on my pans. And I'm going to spray those pans, you guys. I'm going to spray that parchment paper as well with spray stick. I know, right? And you just want to lightly dust them. You want to... Okay, now what I do is, let me see if I make sure you're in the camera. Is I take the flour and I dust my hands, and I kind of dust the top, okay, and then I take it out, and like I said, it's sticky. The best thing about this is, just like this is 1 loaf, I can put the rest of this right into the refrigerator until I want another loaf, but I like to bake all mine at once. So what you're going to do with this, and if your hands get sticky, just keep dipping them in flour. So you want to just roll this into a ball. Now you guys, this is the size of about, oh, I guess it would be softball size. I'm going to add a little more. So make your bread a little, about the size of a softball. And what I'm going to do is, I have pictures of this in white bread. Okay, so what you want to do is to get that nice and packed and put it on your parchment paper that has been sprayed. Can I get it? Yes. Now I'm going to set this to the side. I'm going to make another one. What you want to do after you set it to the side is I get about 3 small loaves. You can double this recipe. You're going to preheat your oven at that time at 450. That is really wet. You're going to preheat that oven at 450. And you're going to set a timer. And in 20 minutes, you're going to let this bread sit and rise for a second time for 20 minutes. And after 20 minutes, ooh, that's sticky. After 20 minutes, then you are going to slice the tops of these with a nice sharp knife so they can expand when they're cooking, because they'll grow even more. So you'll slice the tops. I'll show you when I come back. I know, dough on me. And then put them in the oven. They cook anywhere, you guys, from 20 to 30 minutes. They're delicious. These can be put in your oven with a tin of water. If you're using white bread, and make an artisan. You can put olives in this, you can put garlic in this, you can sprinkle garlic on the top, you can sprinkle onion on the top. I've made this a cinnamon roll. by rolling it out. I've baked it in a bread pan. Now, in a bread pan, it doesn't seem to expand much, but you see the sizes of my loaves right now. I'm going to put this one on the stove. I'll show you the size of my loaves when we come back. So anyway, put your loaves over to rise. I will be making another one here. Might as well just do that right now. What I do, this bowl, my bowl, can have the lid put on and be put right into the refrigerator, and then you could just bake it whenever you want. And I do that sometimes. Yeah, it's like, golly. This is this recipe that I'm going to list below can absolutely be doubled. My suggestion is be ready to do some baking, or have a really nice big container, because I'm just going to toss this back in here until my other two are done. But have a really big container, you guys, because this bread will rise while it's sitting in your refrigerator. I found that out the hard way. So anyway, I'll be back in a few minutes, and I'll be showing you what it's going to look like going in the oven. After this video, I will be posting pictures of white bread that I make this way, and I'll be posting a video of Bernie, my little dog. Yeah, she's such a sweetheart. Yeah. So anyway, I have a viewer who sent her a very beautiful gift, and I got to get it posted. Oh gosh, but these are made so far in advance that it's really hard. But anyway, I'll get that posted. So that's your bread. This could be put, you can make one loaf, put the rest in the fridge, and use it as you need it. Now, if you're taking this out of the refrigerator cold, I would let it rise about 30 minutes on top of the stove, so that dough gets room temperature again. But it will continue to rise in your fridge. So we're going to cover this, and I'll see you guys back. You want a rack to cool your bread. If you're doing all of yours at once, you'll need two racks, and I usually use that one, and the one that comes out of this is what I bake my bread in. Now, I was telling you guys earlier that if you use a conventional oven, that you can put a tin of water and, like, at the same time steam your bread. I've done that in a regular oven, and I will have pictures of that bread afterwards. I'm going to show you my bread right now. Oh, first of all, I have a cup of melted butter. Can you see that? So here's the bread. Yeah, I know, right? After it has set, I know it's like twice the size it was. After it's set for about 15 or 20 minutes, I do the slices with a really sharp bread knife, because as it rises, it needs to expand, and you'll get a bigger loaf that way. Not only that, you get an airier bread. So what I do is I take my melted butter and I simply brush it on. You guys, this is a point at which you would add your sesame seed after your butter is on. You could add garlic, fresh garlic. Yeah, nummy, right? You could add onion and garlic. You could, use fresh, or you could even use just spices. It'd be amazing garlic bread. So anyway, what I do is just brush that all around. And if you're making white bread, what that's going to do is give you a beautiful brown loaf. And again, I will be posting pictures of those at the end of the video. So now, I have my rack on its lowest point. I'm going to put that in. 450, guys. 450. And you're going to do it for 30. Usually about a loaf that size, I go 30 minutes. Sometimes it goes a little longer. So anyway, when that bread is done, I'll see you back here.